Hey guys, this week I want to bring you my personal guide to help you build your own Junto. Now, what's a Junto, you say? Well, I'm going to tell you a little bit about it here. Benjamin Franklin is clearly one of the most well-known historical Americans ever, right? He's invented or had significant influence upon our understanding of things like electricity, ocean currents, population, demography, meteorology. He even invented the world's most popular decision-making tool, the pros and cons list, which is maybe not one of my favorite of Benjamin Franklin's tools. But back in 1727, when he was just 21, Ben Franklin decided to gather together some of his, and he used this word, quote, most ingenious acquaintances on a regular basis to have structured talks about matters of the times. His group of 12 called themselves the Junto. Okay, it was made up of members of diverse occupations and interests. They all shared this spirit of inquiry and a desire to improve themselves, improve their community, and to help others. Among the original members were printers, surveyors, a cabinet maker, a cobbler, a clerk, a merchant. And while Ben Franklin was the youngest member, he was clearly the leader. The Junto's Friday evening meetings were organized around a series of questions covering a range of intellectual, personal, business, and community topics. He used those questions as a springboard for discussion and community action. In fact, through his Junto, Ben Franklin promoted such concepts as volunteer firefighting clubs, improved security, what we now know as night watchmen, and the concept of public hospitals. And he started all of that when he was just 21 years old. So for the past many, many years, I've had a similar group of people that I get together with on a regular basis in the spirit of self-improvement. I don't have a fancy word for it. I just call it my mastermind. We get together weekly via video conference, and we act as both sounding boards and accountability partners for each other, primarily because entrepreneurship is lonely. And here I want to tell you, I don't just have one of these. I have one I call my mastermind. I have one with a group of guys I call the graveyard group. I've got another one with a group of coaches. And we all get together under different auspices, but the conversation and the agendas are typically very similar. And the reason that we keep a conversation and agenda simple is because we don't want the structure to get in the way of the magic that's been created by simply getting together. So here's what we do in most of these groups. Number one is a check-in. For about 15 minutes, we go around the group and we share our business highs and lows of the past week and kind of tell where we're at. The second thing that we do is a discussion on a shared resource. So each month or so, my group will pick a book or a video and audio resource to study together. This element of our meetings allows us to have a shared knowledge base, and it's something to break the ice and discuss before we get into the nitty-gritty next step, which is the hot seat. Each week, one person gets the opportunity to share a significant challenge with the group, and then the group asks clarifying questions and presents potential solutions for the member in the hot seat. This is without a doubt my favorite part of the meeting. It's where the members and I are able to get vulnerable with one another, and it's where we both learn and contribute the most. And in fact, there's benefit for the guys that aren't the people who aren't actually in the hot seat at the time. There's benefit just incidentally from learning. And the final piece is commitments. At the end of the meeting, we go around the room and we each commit to one another about one or more actions that we're going to take in the next week as a result of this time together. We document these and we share it in some fashion. That might be through a text message, a Slack account, or an email. And then we use that as an asynchronous communication tool for the rest of the week to see how we're doing. Pretty simple, right? So of all of the training that I've paid for, the seminars that I've taken, the books that I've read, the mentors that I've enlisted, I can honestly say that my masterminds are the single greatest contributor to my personal success. So here are some of the benefits that I've seen to being a part of these groups. First is accountability. I can't make BS promises to this group. They want and they expect the best from me. In fact, one of the guys in one of my masterminds called me on something just last week. They make sure that I know it. I can't bullshit anyone here. I have to be accountable. The second is growth. My group has been a constant source of growth for my business and for me, okay? Whether it's learning from the other members or even doing business with them, I have seen exponential personal growth as a result of being a part of these groups. The third is specific knowledge, okay? Because my group is comprised of people from different backgrounds, different industries, it's helped me fill gaps in my knowledge and provided very specific assistance for my challenges when I need it. Resources. I have a large personal library of books and resources, and so do my group members. So we all share our resources freely with one another when they're popping up. Support is another reason, okay? Our group has formed a very close and common bond, and this is a great place to go for support when I have a troubling personal or business issue. I also find myself reaching out to members of my mastermind before I go to family or friends for advice. So my mastermind becomes this trusted place. And finally, the benefit, probably the greatest benefit here is the benefit of energy. Okay, simply having a team that understands my objectives and helps celebrate my wins is super energizing. So, how do you go about the process of starting your own Junto or mastermind? Here are the steps that I would take if I was planning to start my group again from scratch. Number 1, make a list of amazing people that you know and that you think might be interested in doing something like this. They don't have to even be your close friends, simply people you know who are out there in the world trying to create something bigger than themselves. Step 2, reach out to them. And I would use a simple script that goes something like this. Hey man, I don't know about you, but I'd really love to get together with some other really smart people on a regular basis to talk about business and life. Does this sound like something that might interest you? Super simple, not overselling it, not underselling it, just really telling us what we mean. Number 3 is to schedule some time to get all of your yeses together, everybody that said yes. I'd recommend you keep the group at maybe max 6 to 8 people. I guess bigger or smaller could work too. My groups are in the 5 or 6 range right now, but I've been in groups as large as 15. But I like that 6 to 8, and I would schedule a time to get them together. And then I would create a very simple agenda that you follow each meeting. Okay? Don't get too complicated. Just make sure that the agenda is repeatable each week without having to send it out. Okay? It's the consistency of that agenda that's important. The structure is going to allow the magic to happen inside of the meeting. So something like what I just talked about would be a good place to start. Welcome and check-ins. Each group member shares highs and lows from the week for 10-15 minutes. Hot seat. One member shares a significant business challenge, and each person in the group provides feedback in a round-robin format for 30 minutes. Commitments. Each person shares one or more high-impact activities that they plan to do the following week that they want to be held accountable for. So that's probably the simplest agenda. Now you can add the resource sharing in that I've done. You can add structured questioning. So in one of my masterminds, after you share your hot seat item, then all of the members do a round of clarifying questions. They're just asking to try and find out what your problem actually is, and then we do a round of no response feedback, which means that if I'm in the hot seat and someone gives me feedback, I don't get to respond yet. And all 5 people in the group get to do that, and then I have an opportunity to respond, which is super valuable because it makes me spend less time defending and more time listening. The 5th thing that you can do to start your own group is to meet regularly. I've found that weekly meetings work best for masterminds. You can do bi-weekly, but remember, if somebody misses on a bi-weekly meeting, then they're gone for a month, and that might be too long. So regularly or weekly means that if somebody misses, they can catch up again quickly. And then the 6th is to stick with it. It takes a while for a mastermind group or a junto to really start to perform well. But if you stick with it, I can guarantee you're not going to be disappointed. So that's it for this week. I hope you enjoyed that video. I hope to talk to you soon.